Hey guys, welcome to my video, and today I just want to be talking about some of the things that happened over the weekend with TNA Wrestling, the Genesis pay-per-view, and I'd like to answer a few questions. So go ahead and ask me the questions.
Okay, the first question we want to ask you, Jesse, is where is the NWO storyline going?
Okay, well, based on what we saw last night at the pay-per-view, looks like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Sean Waltman are drifting further and further away from Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, which means that the possible NWO regrouping is looking less and less like a possibility. It looks like more of a rift is forming between Hogan and those guys because, basically Waltman and Nash failed to prove themselves last night when they lost their match. So, if you remember Hulk Hogan when he debuted on TNA, he was talking about how everybody has to earn their spot. And he was talking directly to them. And because they failed, looks like there's going to be some bitterness between them. So, if you expect to see Hogan as a face, then you'll have Hall and Nash and X-Pac as bad guys. Or vice versa. So, that's the way I see it. Next question.
Next question we have for you, Jess, is what do you think about AJ turning into the heel?
Okay, yeah, at main event last night at Genesis, we saw AJ Styles was able to beat Kurt Angle only because of interference by Ric Flair. That signified that AJ Styles, AJ Styles is turning heel. He is now the bad guy, and that was pretty shocking. But I guess if you're going for shock value, that's right up there because AJ Styles has always been the babyface, pretty much. I don't think it's necessarily a good way to go from the storyline perspective. Having AJ as the bad guy, I think fans more want to see him as the good guy, either chasing the title or trying to hold on to the title from someone established like Kurt Angle, which now Kurt Angle is thrust into the good guy spot. So we'll just have to see how it plays out, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Next question we have for you, Jess. Do you think it's a good idea to switch to the four-sided ring?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the four-sided ring debuted last night, and that was Hulk Hogan's doing. Hulk Hogan stated in interviews that he was not a fan of the six-sided ring. He thought it was silly, and he wanted to get rid of it. So the thing is that we all knew it was coming sooner or later, and he ended up changing it pretty soon. And a lot of fans reacted poorly to it. They booed and so on and so forth. But Hulk Hogan felt like he did what he had to do in order to get the respect of the entertainment business or the wrestling community or whatever. In the long run, it could benefit them. But the thing is that TNA had always been the innovator and different from WWE in that it had the six-sided ring. And the good thing about the six-sided ring is that it made the matches more exciting because you had guys that could get up on turnbuckles. There were more turnbuckles in a four-sided ring. And you could do more high-flying moves and come at your opponent from different angles. And that was really interesting. But I guess that's the end of an era now. And we're getting back to, the standard wrestling show. And we'll see how that pays off for them down the road.
Next question that we have, Jess, is what do you think of the recent title changes?
Okay, of course, at the pay-per-view we saw a couple titles change hand. We had, first of all, the tag team titles switched over from British Invasion was the champions, and they were defeated by Matt Morgan and Hernandez. So Morgan and Hernandez are the new tag champs, and they're two really big guys, two really aggressive guys. and they're pretty much the bad guys. So look for them to feud with teams such as Beer Money Inc., who probably will be getting the next title shot, and probably maybe even the Dudley Boys after they finish their program with the Nasty Boys. So look forward to that. That should be good. And also we had the new TNA Knockout Champion, Tara, regain the title from ODB. Like on the 3-hour live show, Tara lost the title to ODB. Now she's got the belt back, so things have come full circle. And I think that's a good position for her to have that title. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the title changes. I was expecting a world title change. I was expecting AJ to drop it to Kurt Angle, but that didn't happen. So, yeah, props to the new champions.
What do you think about Brian Kendrick's debut at Genesis?
Brian Kendrick debuting in the X Division, immediately getting a title shot against Amazing Red at Genesis. Brian Kendrick is an exciting cruiserweight wrestler. He does a lot of interesting things. He was, I think he was trained by Shawn Michaels. He came out of Shawn Michaels' wrestling camp. He's a good talent, and I think he can add a lot to the X Division as long as they keep him there. He doesn't belong in there with the heavyweights. But I think he can put on some good matches, and I look forward to seeing him.
Can you explain why Hogan getting heat is bad for business?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan's starting to get a lot of boos from the crowd, and I don't think that's intentional at all. Hulk Hogan came in as the hero, the wrestling icon. Naturally, audiences want to cheer him. But Hulk Hogan doing very drastic things like getting rid of the 6-sided ring and, criticizing Jeff Jarrett. It just causes the fans, especially the fans who've been loyal to TNA for so long, it causes them to be angry at him and to boo him and see him really as an outsider who doesn't belong, who didn't earn his spot to be able to make these changes so quickly. But it's bad for business because they want to be able to use Hulk Hogan as the hero, as the good guy. That's how they've been promoting it. And the more heat he gets from the audience, the more boos and stuff, it's just going to mess up the storylines that they're going for, which is as paints Hulk Hogan in the good guy sort of picture. So they'd have to change up a lot of the storylines they're doing. If Hulk Hogan becomes the bad guy, they're going to have to switch things around, so it can be bad for business in that respect.
The last question I have for you is, what are your thoughts on the use of Sean Morley and Ken Dickerson?
Ken Anderson?
Yeah, Ken Anderson.
Ken Anderson, yeah. Okay. Ken Anderson debuted last night. He was big on the Hulkamania tour. He had a lot of appearances. So he was the big name now. Hulk Hogan was promising. He used to work for the WWE under the name Ken Kennedy. And now pretty much is the same guy, same gimmick, coming into TNA. He's not a real big name. He's not a real popular guy. But he does have a lot of potential. I just think they need to repackage him, give him a new gimmick, change his name. I mean, Ken Anderson, that doesn't really say anything to me. He needs a gimmick. He needs a character. Otherwise, he's just another guy. Same thing with Sean Morley, but to a lesser extent. Morley wrestled in WWE as Val Venus and had a very interesting character there. But it appears that they're going with the character, but not repackaging him enough. In other words, why are they using his real name? They should give him a different name. I just think it's kind of lazy. But I hope they change that up soon.
Okay, that's all the questions we have tonight. Thank you, Jesse, for giving us the lecture and the information. Have a good evening, folks.